keys.
Don't let them take my soul.
I ain't need this bitch.
Not at all. Giannis is still relying on his athleticism and in the early 30s, it's time to start doing that now. So when you are 50 or 60 and you got a couple billion in the bank, now you could live comfortably and not have to worry about it.
Do you wanna know why I cry at night? Do you wanna know why I can't sleep at night? These niggas soft, gon' take them out. 2 shots, pow, pow, take them out. Had a few ones try to take me out. Now I can't trust a damn soul. Own brothers against me. Should've never ever be the same. When a thug cry, do you wanna know what he crying about? When a thug cry, do you wanna know what he crying about? When a thug cry, do you wanna know what he crying about? When a thug cry.
What's the music opinion that'll have everybody looking at you crazy?
There is not a year where Jay-Z was indisputably the hottest or the best rapper in the game. Jay-Z came in the game in 1996. I think we can all agree that's Tupac's year. 1997, Biggie died. In 1998, which was kind of his breakout year, DMX had 2 #1 albums in that year. 1999, DMX again, who outsold Jay-Z by a big margin. Year 2000, Nelly and Eminem both went down. Now 2001 would have been the best argument, but then Ludacris came in the game with hits like Area Codes, Move, Bitch, Roll Out. 2002, here go Eminem again, dropping the Eminem Show, another diamond album. As well as Nelly dropping another album that sold like 7 million. Jay-Z who? 2003 was obviously 50 Cent's year. He retired, came back in 2006. At that point, T.I. was on top of the game. 2007 undoubtedly goes to Kanye, graduation year, can't be serious. And 2008 to like 2011 clearly goes to Lil Wayne.
That's Wayne.
So at what point was he the hottest rapper?
Saying Jay-Z was never the best rapper in a year in any of the years he listed, right? That's what he said. Okay. So let's go over these years. Let's go over these years. But before we do, hold on. Gotta put the phone on silent. You know, this is when people try to reach out and all that stuff. So he said 96. Anybody know that 1996 Reasonable Doubt had just dropped? It was ahead of its time. People didn't even know what to expect from Jay-Z. But around that time, that's when Tupac dropped All Eyes on Me, the first ever double disc album. Yes, All Eyes on Me outsold Jay-Z's first album, hands down. Yes, 5 million copies, 5-time platinum, and by June of 1996, Diamond album. Reasonable Doubt only sold 420,000 copies in the year 1996. Now, I want to make sure, just want to check just one thing, y'all bear with me, because everybody knows, you know, Tupac had passed away, but I don't think it was around that time. I think it was more so around the time when Me Against the World was released, but let me just double check. So let's take a look. Let's see here. So Tupac died September 13th, 1996, and All Eyes on Me was released in June of 1996, I believe. So technically speaking, All Eyes on Me was Tupac's last album when he was alive. So, with that being said, sales increased in the later part of the year, which made him a diamond artist. because again, you sell more albums when you're dead. Eazy-E, when he died, that's when he went platinum on his last album. So let's see here. Let me just make sure. Was this the last album Tupac made before he died? And I'm a Tupac fan. Okay. So actually, he released another album that same year. It was called the Don Illuminati, the 7 Day Theory album. That was his last album before he died. So he dropped 2 albums in the same year, right? All Eyes on Me and Don Illuminati, 7 Day Theory. Okay, so yes, All Eyes on Me. Also, that was Tupac's Diamond album. You know, of course, versus Jay-Z's first album. Yeah, so okay. Now, he said 9/7, Biggie died. So he's talking about this Life After Death album going up against his In My Lifetime Volume 1 album, which arguably could have been Jay-Z's worst album, depending on who you know, young Jay-Z at the time. I mean, it only did 1.2 million copies. It was released November 4th, 1997. It went platinum later on. And Biggie died March 9th of 1997. So when Biggie died, when did they drop Life After Death? March 25th of 1997. Therefore, close to 2 weeks after Biggie's death, they dropped Life After Death. So yes, it sold more than In My Lifetime Volume 1. However, the argument I propose is, would Biggie have sold that many if he would have stayed alive? Like Pop, All Eyes on Me, sold 5 million copies when he was alive. In June 1996, he was still alive all the way to November. One could argue Jay probably would have outsold Big if Big was alive. Would have. I mean, so that's a toss-up. So 9/7 could have been Jay's year, but I did some more research. Why? Because, you know, I don't want nobody coming up with this. Now here's an artist. If he would have said this artist, he would have been 100% right. Mace Harlem World. Yes, Mace Harlem World in 1997 sold between 1.8 million copies to 2.7 million copies. Mace's debut album outsold Jay-Z's In My Lifetime Volume 1. So 9/7 technically was Mace's year. When Biggie died, Mace carried Bad Boy. Mace wrote Diddy's lyrics. Him and Jada wrote Diddy's lyrics, which is why that Puff P. Diddy and the Family album, the No Way Out one, when it went diamond, Mace had something to do with that. Let's move on. 1998, arguably his best-selling album, Hard Knock Life Volume 2. Okay, so he said DMX had 2 #1 albums that year. Okay. DMX dropped his debut album on May 12, 1998, Dark and Hell is Hot. That sold 3 million copies that year. Jay-Z dropped It's a Hard Knock Life Volume 2 on September 29th, 1998. You remember, Jay was always dropping albums in the fall. He never dropped an album in spring, summer. He always dropped his albums fall, winter. He was the fourth quarter guy. So for those that don't know, in the music business, when it comes down to the fourth quarter, that's when sales stuff is needed the most for the label. Jay-Z sold 5 million copies. So he outsold DMX, Dark and Hell is Hot. What is this man talking about? In fact, he put so much fear in DMX. Yes, I'm saying it right now. He put so much fear in DMX. DMX had to go back in the studio in December 22nd, 1998 to drop Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, which sold 3.5 million copies just to stay relevant. DMX had to drop 2 albums in the same year to compete with Jay's 1 album. Now, let's be fair. If Jay would have dropped another album in the same year, would it outsold DMX's any one of DMX's 2 albums? Maybe, maybe not. If he would have dropped Volume 3 instead of dropping Volume 3 in 99 and dropped it in 98 and it still sold 2 mil, Jay still outsells DMX. He still outsells him. Because all he needs to do is just sell 2 mil copies and he outsells DMX. So I'm going to give 9-8 to Jay. That was Jay's year because it took an artist to make 2 albums to outsell one artist's album. How many people could say that? Come on now. Come on, man. Don't stop disrespecting Jigga like that, man. Got artists over here. Man, I gotta get my ass back to the studio, drop another album, man, before I'm gonna be relevant. Yeah, bro. Alright. 1999. Let's go. So DMX, he said DMX outsold Jay-Z. Okay, 1999, as I stated before, Jay-Z's In My Lifetime of Shawn Carter, Volume 3. That dropped December 28th of 1999, sold 2 million copies versus DMX, and then there was X, sold 3 million copies. That was dropped December 21st of 1999. So, yes, that album did outsell Jay-Z by 1 million copies. Okay, nothing too big. Okay. Have y'all noticed DMX, even though he's a great talent, in the years he dropped albums, he never really got over that 3 million mark. Jay got over the 3 million mark on his 3rd album. But someone would say, yeah, X is better. And I'm like, I disagree. Numbers, the sales don't lie. Sales don't lie. They both were hot artists at the time. But DMX just stayed leveled while Jay rose. From Reasonable Doubt to In My Lifetime Volume 1, arguably his worst album, to Volume 2, Hard Knock Life. Then he went to 2 mil on Volume 3. So let's go. Now we into the year 2000. He said Eminem and Nelly went diamond. Okay. So year 2000, Jay-Z drops the Dynasty album on October 31st of 2000, sold 2 million copies. Nelly's Country Grammar, yes, he had the whole St. Louis behind him, sold 7.4 million copies, and he dropped that June 27th of 2000, Diamond album. Then Eminem Marshall Mathers LP came out May 23rd of 2000, so 7.9 million copies, that went diamond. So yes, those two took over the industry. That's why he said in the song, excuse me, miss, only dudes moving units is M, Pimp, Juice, and Us. That's what he was talking about, because they were. Y'all gotta remember, in 2000, that's when Vocal was popping, baggy clothes era. Okay. And when, so this, I'm doing this off of album sales, okay? Just so y'all know, no mixtapes, none of that. Album sales for that year. Nothing past the year or nothing. Strictly just album sales for that year when the albums drop. Okay. All right, let's go to 2001. 2001, he said, Ludacris did better than Jay-Z. Word of Mouth album versus the Blueprint album. Okay. Now, Blueprint dropped September 11, 2001, sold 1.5 million copies. So I thought that album did more, and they arguably say that was Jay-Z's, the best album Jay-Z put together was Blueprint. I disagree. I think it was Reasonable Doubt. You know, but if we're gonna go off sales, if we're gonna go off album sales, his best album is Hard Knock Life Volume 2. That's Jay-Z's best album because it sold the most, 5-time platinum. He hasn't reached that ever since that album. Ludacris Word of Mouth dropped November 27th of 2001, sold 3.1 million copies. Okay, so he got that one. 2002, Jay-Z's Blueprint 2 goes up against the Eminem Show. Because he said in 2002, Eminem Show went diamond. So Jay-Z's Blueprint 2, that was his double disc album. That was the one he said was too many songs on it and stuff like that. November 12th, 2002 is when it dropped. Sold 2.1 million copies. Eminem Show dropped May 26, 2002. Sold 7.6 million copies. Diamond. Okay. Now, 2003, Jay's announcing his retirement, dropped his final album, the Black Album. Sold 3 million copies in 2003. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying. Came out February 6th of 2003, sold 6.5 million copies. One second, y'all. Let's look and see when the Black Album actually came out. Because again, that's when Jay was retiring and stuff. Let's see. I dropped that Black. November 14th, 2003, he dropped Black Album. Okay. Then so now he goes on to say 2003 is 50 Cent year because that's when 50 retired. I mean, that's when Jay-Z retired. He retired in 2003, and then, so from 2003, that's when Lil Wayne was now that's when he should have said Lil Wayne was making his run or he was starting to build his name, because that's when Jay retired, that's when Lil Wayne started putting out more and more music. But he didn't. Instead, he wants to bring in T.I. He said when Jay-Z came back, T.I. was on top. Alright. So, in 2006, Jay-Z's Kingdom Come album dropped November 21st, 2006. Sold 1.5 million copies that year. T.I. drops the King album. He dropped that March of 28th, 2006, sold 2.5 million copies. Okay. Then in 2007, he's going off to say that's Kanye West's Graduation album. Okay. Arguably one of Kanye West's best pieces of work. One might say Vultures. One might say 808 Heartbreaks. I mean, Kanye was putting out music. He was putting out good music. Jay-Z's American Gangster drops November 6th, 2007, sold 1.7 million copies that year. Kanye West drops Graduation September 11th, 2007, sold 2.1 million copies. Okay. Now, he goes on to say 2008, 2011 is Lil Wayne's year. Jay-Z didn't drop nothing in 2008. Okay. Now, I can say 2009 was Jay-Z's year because Lil Wayne didn't drop nothing in 2009. Instead, he dropped I Am a Human Being on September 27th, 2010. So actually 2009 when Jay-Z dropped Blueprint 3 on September 8th, 2009, he sold 1.9 million copies that year. This was the year he outsold Eminem. with his Relapse album that did 1.7 million that year. That was Jay-Z's year, 2009, my brother. My brother. And this album, I think he took a loss on this album. I think this album, Jay-Z did a 360 deal on. But when you got the money and the fame like that, and you got the following, you can do a 360 deal and it won't hurt you. Let's move along. All right, 2011. So Jay did drop an album in 2010. So Lil Wayne, you know, I Am Not a Human Being. Now that's when you can, if one wants to say that. I don't know who outsold more than Wayne. I didn't do that research, but we'll stay on top. Watch the Throne. All right, 2011. That dropped August 8th of 2011, so 1.5 million copies. That was a collab album. I'm not really gonna count Watch the Throne because it's a collab. It went up against Lil Wayne's Carter 4, which dropped the same month, August 29th of 2011. That sold 2.2 million copies. So that Carter 4 outsold Watch the Throne that year. All right. So we was doing some more research. Like I said, we gonna put it to rest. So we got Jay-Z's Magna Carta, the Holy Grail, was dropped in July 4th. So on Independence Day of 2013, sold 2.1 million copies. Remember, 1 million copies was on the new Samsung device, because that was the only way you get the albums on the Samsung device. So the only one to outsell him that year was Eminem Marshall Mathers LP2, which he dropped November 5th, 2013. That's a 1 point, actually, no. Eminem Marshall Mathers LP2, that year, November 5th, 2013, he sold 1.7 million copies. Jay-Z sold 2.1 million copies of the Holy Grail, Magna Carta Holy Grail album. Now, out of 2.1, 1 million copies was on the Samsung. Only one to sell, so technically Jay-Z outsold Eminem. So one could say 2013 was Jay-Z's year with the Magna Carta. Then his last album, 444, which came out June 30th of 2017, only sold 630 copies. And that even outsold, I believe that outsold Reasonable Doubt. Yeah, that outsold Reasonable Doubt. The only person to outsell him that year was Kendrick Lamar's Damn album, which dropped April 14th, 2017. That sold 3 million copies. So, little homie. Whoops, I don't even know his fucking name because it's irrelevant. Alright. 9-7 was Mace year. Jay-Z's year was 9-8 because he made an artist have to go back in the studio to make another album to outsell his first album. 2009 was his year because did no artist sell more than 1.9 million copies. No rapper within that year sold 1.9 million copies. And then 2013, Jay-Z's Magna Carta Holy Grail, 2.1. A million was sold off the Samsung device. Then he had the 1.1 in album sales that year. Outsold Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP, which was 1.7 million copies. So those are the years Jay-Z was on top. Those are the years Jay-Z's albums were booming and busting, my boy. So when you say Jay-Z was never the top or hottest rapper in a year, check your facts, my boy. Check your facts. He made DMX go back in the studio and do another album just to beat his first album. What does that tell you? Stop playing with the